Good evening, friends. This evening, elaboration is on the topic fashion and the modern world. Well, friends, fashion is a force, a powerful force of constantly altering the patterns and change as well as the growth. So, it is a powerful force which affects constantly the changing pattern of life as well as growth. Its constant movement affects the fate of the designers as well as manufacturers. This is a multi-million, the fashion industry is a multi-million affair. Fashion is also called a science. Surprisingly, isn't it? Why is fashion called a science? Ask the question. Because it it requires a lot of scientific approach to design a dress or a style of living, to design the cosmetics, to design the interiors that are to be placed inside the house, to design a building or a monument, or surprisingly to make a plan of how beautiful a house can be made. It is all about the architecture of a style. Fashion is a complete scientific architecture which not only makes the pattern of living modern but also affects our way of thinking. The basic principle behind the growing fashion is that it is having certain facts, certain principles which are governed by the changing pattern of life. Fashion is one of those distinct and unique traits that is based on certain facts and principles, and therefore it is highly dependent on the environment we are living in. Fashion is highly dependent on the environment that we are living in, the surrounding that we are living in. In India, fashion is totally governed by the style of the dresses, by the style of the living, and also by the environmental changes that we are continuously facing in India. These have to be understood by the designers if they really want to become successful. If a designer wants to become successful in this industry that is a multi-million affair, then he has to understand the constantly changing environment of our country as well as the changing style of people. The people nowadays are very conscious of their dresses, their way of living, their mannerism. So even mannerism has become an aspect of fashion. People should not be mistaken by the fact that fashion is only related to dress and design. No, fashion is more a kind of a characteristic of mannerism as well as dress and design. So it is not apart, it is together. So a designer, a manufacturer of the fashion has to understand the fact that if he really wants to be successful in this era regarding the fashion, then he has to understand the changing environment, the changing fate of the people, and the changing style of the people. For one has to make either on the top, or the business of the fashion industry may go either on the top or may go to the down. As the powerful fashion can influence our life growth and development, a number of misconception is also about the fashion. The people generally are of the opinion that the most common of this is that the designers and the retailers, they dictate the fashion industry. This is the misconception. The people are of the opinion that it is the designer and the retailers and the distributor who really dictate the fashion industry, but that is a misconception. It is the consumer, those who are actually adopting the fashion, those who are accepting the style, those who are buying the trends, those who are adopting the pattern of changes in their lifestyle, that matters more. So the consumers are the real people who dictate the fashion industry. If the consumers and the customers do not accept the fashion, then the fashion industry will go to the bottom. So the fashion gurus have to be dictated by the choice of the people. It is a matter of choice, not either. So that nobody can, even the designers cannot dictate the fashion industry. It is the people, the customer, the consumers whose choice really matters a lot. The trends and the designs of the fashion totally depends on the choice of the people, the likings of the people. So it is the customer who dictate the trends, not the designer. The second misconception is that fashion acts as an influence on women only. The people are of the opinion that only women are affected by the fashion because they are more conscious of their appearance. But that is a misconception. Men are equally concerned about their appearance. Nowadays, men are influenced by as much influenced by the fashion as and responsive to fashion as the women are, because they are also having, they are also adopting the changes, the growing changes. That is the reason why the male fashion industry is growing rapidly these days. And therefore, fashion today is more lifestyle oriented and it is quite practical. The fashion today is lifestyle oriented and it doesn't depend, it doesn't bother about whether it is a male wear or a woman wear. What matters more is that fashion today is lifestyle oriented. The modern men and female want to dress differently for office as well as for leisure. So designers are becoming more daring so that the women as well as the men have a wide choice. There are different designs for every moment of a busy social schedule. And that is what I wanted to say about fashion. Thank you. Have a nice day ahead.